Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Landlords Are Now Fleeing for Their Lives. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell and get notified every time we post a new episode. Now, let's get started. As everybody knows, the CDC has imposed an eviction moratorium for more than a year now that has prevented landlords from throwing people out of their homes when they stop paying their rent. The eviction moratorium ended recently when the Supreme Court ruled that it was illegal and landlords did in fact have a right to evict people. But then a strange thing happened. The government decided to ignore the Supreme Court and decided to extend the moratorium against evictions once again until September 30th. This means that landlords have to wait even longer with no rent payments and no ability to evict people. So why is that such a big deal? Aren't landlords rich? Can't they just let desperate people live in their houses for free? Well, most landlords are just normal people who've worked really hard to try and buy some extra real estate that they can rent out and make a living off of. Now, of course, there are some massive hedge funds out there and other companies that have thousands of rental units, and they have so much money that they won't be jeopardized by this issue. But the ordinary people who comprise the bulk of the landlords out there, these people who may have one or two rental units that they need to live off of, these people are in real trouble. Why? Because the banks still expect them to keep making their mortgage payments over the last year and a half. Even though the landlord is not getting their rent, the banks still expect their payments. This is placing landlords at tremendous risk because their rental income has gone to zero. And now they're at risk of having the banks take their homes, take their rental property. Even though the government has extended the eviction moratorium until September 30th, there is no guarantee that they won't extend it even further after that date. So what are landlords doing now? Well, that's really interesting. The first thing that many landlords say when someone now applies for rent, for the rent of one of their units, is they ask, have you been making your rent payments at your previous or current rental? That's when the person usually smiles and says, oh, yes, absolutely. Then the landlord asks the second question, and that is, I want to see your canceled checks and your bank statements to prove that you were making your rent payments for the last year and a half. If the person was lying about making their rent payments over that time, then that second question usually goes off like a grenade in their skull. And they say something like, okay, I'll get it and I'll get back to you. And then the landlord never hears from them again. Do you know what 2/3 of all landlords now say? They're saying, I'm selling everything and I don't ever want to be in the real estate business again. Why are they saying that? They're saying that because this past 18 months have proven that contracts and the rule of law don't mean anything to them anymore. They don't trust the laws, the courts, and anybody else. And that's why they're getting out of the real estate business and running for their lives. That's also why so many landlords are now willing to sell their property at below market value. They're willing to sell it at a loss just to get out. That's how spooked they are by what's happened over the last year and a half. They want to get out while they still can. What's interesting is that the real estate business, which for over a century was widely considered one of the safest and most profitable businesses in the world, is now considered terrible and super risky. And when millions of people do eventually get evicted somehow, and they flood into the rental market with terrible credit, no money for rent or security deposits, what do you think will happen then? I'll tell you what's going to happen then. It's going to be a nightmare out there for people and for landlords. With that, I want to thank you for watching. I want to tell you that we're going to have more great celebrity interviews and more breaking news stories coming up in the future. So we encourage you to subscribe to our free channel and click on the notification bell so you can get notified every time we post a new story. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you soon. Bye-bye.